Welcome to the Explainer. You know how sometimes a simple story, maybe one you'd tell around a campfire, just explodes online? Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're going to break down this viral Hindi horror story, Manali 28 km, and figure out exactly what makes it so terrifying, how it builds that sense of dread, step by chilling step.
So let's get right into it. This story kicks off with these words from our narrator, Sahil. And wow, this one sentence, it just hits you, right? It tells you that something pure, something like a lullaby, has been turned into an absolute nightmare. It's such a perfect hook, setting this incredibly creepy tone from the get-go.
Okay, so every great horror story needs a solid setup, and this one is no different. It starts with four friends. You got Sahil, Chirag, Arun, and Samay, and they're all on a road trip to the gorgeous mountain town of Manali. But, and this is a big but, this is definitely not just a fun little vacation. And the dynamic between these friends? It's absolutely key. See, this trip is really for Samay. He's just lost his younger brother, so the emotional stakes are already sky high. And if you're a horror fan, you know exactly what grief does. It makes you vulnerable. It opens you up. And in this story, that vulnerability becomes a doorway for something truly awful. All right, so it's day 3. The friends decide, hey, let's go for a drive up to the famous Rotong Pass. But just as they're heading out, they get that classic horror movie moment. You know the one. An ominous warning, this time from the guy at the hotel's front desk. And he's not just talking about, watching out for potholes or a coming storm. No, this warning is tied to something much, much darker. A local legend. A story that, of course, the friends are just a little too quick to dismiss. Turns out, the receptionist tells them the local name for the pass literally means Valley of Death. He talks about this supernatural entity, a Mayavi Saya, which basically translates to an illusory shadow. And this thing, it's said to haunt the pass at night, luring people to their doom. And here it is, the classic move, right? The friends just laugh it off. Oh, it's just a silly tourist tale, they say, and head out completely unconcerned. They've just ignored the warning and, well, they've basically sealed their fate for what's coming. So they have a great day, but of course they leave late. It's about 9:15 at night, and as they're driving back, this super dense fog just rolls in, swallowing the car. They can barely see a thing. And this is when things start to get really weird. This is when reality starts to unravel. Peering through that fog, they see a milestone, Manali 28 km. Okay, fine, but it's what's next to the milestone that's just wrong. There's a man just sitting there in the freezing cold wearing only a dhothi, a thin piece of cloth. It makes absolutely no sense. So they keep driving. 20 minutes pass, they think they're getting closer to town, and then they see it again. The exact same milestone, Manali 28 km. They're stuck, caught in some kind of impossible loop. But here's the really crucial part. The milestone is the same, but the figure next to it is not. And this is where the story just gets genius. It completely shatters their shared reality. Because, get this, they all saw the milestone, but every single one of them saw something different next to it. One saw a man, another a little girl, another a horse. It's a brilliant way to confirm that this is supernatural, using their own perceptions to freak them out and sow chaos. But then there's Samay. Remember the grieving friend? His reaction is totally different. He's not confused at all. In fact, he seems almost tuned in to whatever is happening. He just keeps saying, someone needs our help. He's not seeing something scary. He's feeling a connection. And that, somehow, is even creepier. So they're trapped. They're terrified. But what can they do? They try to keep driving. But things are about to go from weird sighting to direct, terrifying confrontation. Because they are definitely not alone out there. And then Arun, the guy who's driving, he chokes out these words. Friends, don't look outside, but someone is walking alongside us. Chills, right? That one line just brings all that terror from the foggy darkness right up to their car window. It's not out there anymore, it's right here. Okay, now lock this number in your head. 40 kilometers per hour. That's how fast the car is moving. It seems like a boring detail, but it's what makes the next part so bone-chillingly impossible. Because what they see is a boy, maybe 15 years old, all muddy and injured, and he's keeping up with the car. But here's the thing. He's not running. He's walking, just strolling along at 40 kilometers per hour.
This thing isn't some beast. It's a phantom that just breaks the rules of reality.
So while everyone else is losing their minds with fear, what does Samai do? He lowers his window. It's like he's completely under its spell. He actually wants to help this thing that's terrorizing them. Okay, so let's see how this nightmare escalates. They finally break out of that time loop and just floor it back to the hotel. They're shaken, obviously, but they're relieved. They figure, let's just sleep this off. Big mistake. The thing from the road, it didn't stay on the road. It followed them home.
It's 3:30 in the morning, dead of night. Sahil wakes up to a sound, a children's lullaby. It should be a comforting sound, right? But the source of this singing, well, it's probably the most terrifying image in the whole story. It's Samai, and he's singing to himself in the mirror. And when Sahil looks closer, oh man. Samai's eyes are blood red. He's got these weird marks on his neck, like he's been strangled. And he has this tiny, awful, unnatural smile on his face while he's singing this sweet little song. There's no doubt about it. Samai is possessed. His friends are backing away, totally terrified. And then the thing speaks through Samai. And it doesn't scream or make some big threat. No, it asks this perfectly innocent, childlike question that is just loaded with menace. And right after it says that, Samai just collapses. So, the next day, they finally do what they should have done in the first place. They listen to the receptionist's advice and go find a local pundit, a priest. And he confirms exactly what they feared. Samai is possessed. And the spirit got to him by preying on his grief, pretending to be his dead brother. So they do this harrowing exorcism ritual. Samai is finally freed from the entity. But here's the real kicker. The entity might be gone, and Samai might be back to normal, but the psychological damage is done. For Sahil, our narrator, the nightmare isn't over, not by a long shot. And that right there is what makes this story so incredibly effective. It shows you that even after an entity is expelled, the memory, the image of a friend's face in the mirror, the sound of that innocent song, that is the ghost that truly stays with you long after the story is over.